What is going on, everyone? I am Josh with 625 Media, and it is Vlog Sunday. Why did I say it that way? I don't know. We've got stats, we've got some lessons this week, and am I going to backpedal on the sock puppet? Maybe, but not for long, because there's some other ideas I want to get out. It's from the attic. And welcome on this. It's a hot Sunday here in Ohio, but it's the last hot day we're going to see for a little bit because next week it looks like it's going to be beautiful as long as it doesn't rain. But yes, it's Vlog Sunday here on From the Attic, and we've got a decent amount to talk about. Really, more in the second half when I talk about content and what's going on with the voiceover side of things. So let's not waste our time. And let's get right into the stats for the month of September. So, September blog views look pretty good in comparison to last month. So we're at 348 views at this point in the month. We've got about 9-10 days left in the month. On pace right now for 450 views. Remember, our goal was 500 views. So we're still going to be a little south of the goal. But we're going to have a better month than we did in August. I guarantee it. And we'll talk about why we're having the numbers that we are at this point. T-shirt revenues. Yeah, I'm going to skip that one. Voiceover. So we auditioned for 2 audiobooks on ACX. I also reached out to someone independently outside of there to see if it's something they'd be interested in. I did get a response from one of my auditions. Unfortunately, they've passed on my talents, but it's okay. We auditioned. That's what's important here. My goal for voiceover was to have one paying job this month, and you know what? If I don't get one, I'm okay with that, as long as I'm putting in the effort to try to get one. And okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens by the end of the month. Maybe we'll get fortunate and have someone say, "Okay, let's do this." User testing. It's still been a slow month for user testing. I'm not seeing less opportunities. I'm actually seeing more opportunities the second half of this month than I had in the previous month. But we just haven't had the time or sometimes the luck to be able to take the tests that we need to take to build that revenue. So I'm only at $70 this month paid. I do have a few payments pending, but year to date we're at $450. So those are the stats for the month of September. Let's take a look at what we've learned. So just to kind of go back to the blog a little bit, I can make time for the Facebook click-through threads. So this week, and my bullet says did one each day this week. It was really Monday through Thursday that I did them, and actually I think I did Sunday as well. So Sunday through Thursday, I participated in one thread. Before, I had some mixed feelings about it because of the amount of time that I felt like it took, but I changed my strategy and I decided, okay, I'm already working on some things, and if I'm not recording something, I can multitask a little bit. I can click on some links and let them load while I'm doing like a graphic or I'm working on an outline or a script or something like that. So that's what I did this week, and it really didn't take as much time out of my day as I thought it was going to. So I think it's something that we can continue moving forward as long as I follow that model and I'm not totally obsessing over it. If I miss a day here or there, I think I'm okay. But we're definitely going to see some better numbers this month because I decided to rethink that and definitely go into that. Also, I saw some differences in some of the interaction that I got, and I think that's probably because of the content I was sharing. We did launch Workout Wednesday this week, and we got a little bit of interaction there. So I think the combination of both really going to be beneficial moving forward. Moving on to the content, really. I found some time to plan and expand some ideas. You see lab work. That's really a working title. That's coming soon, and we're going to talk about that specifically here in a little bit when I talk about the sock puppet and possibly backpedaling on that. But expanded some ideas, and I really had the time to do that this week because my content was pretty much pre-recorded except for this. So we're gonna talk more about that here in a minute. Excuse me. Reaching out to people about voiceover work is easy. It's easy to reach out to people. That shouldn't be any surprise. The problem is getting them to respond back to you. So I was in one of these click-through threads on Facebook, and I saw that someone was an author-illustrator in really children's books. And for some reason, it jumped out to me. Like, I wonder if they have an audiobook. I wonder if they'd be interested in that. So I reached out to the person posting the link. I don't know if that was the author or not, but I reached out to them. And I said, hey, do you have an audiobook version of this? And they said, no, paperback, hardbound. So I said, well, if you want to do an audiobook, let me know. I'd be happy to do the voice. And I didn't get any response. So maybe they thought it was a little weird that some guy was messaging them like, hey, I want to do your audiobook for your children's book. I needed that. But I think I'm going to continue to reach out to people directly because I think it's something that maybe we get lucky with. And I don't even necessarily need those to be paying gigs because really one of the hurdles that I see moving forward with voiceover is the lack of material that we have to kind of showcase what we're going to do. And if I can get just some little work here and there that I can use, I think that puts us in a better position. And speaking of voiceover, I'm going to need to I'm going to need to push voiceover work for the rest of the month if I want to meet my goal. Again, we talked about it. I've done 2 auditions already this month, and I got a response from one saying, no, thank you. I'm okay with that. And as long as I'm pushing it and I'm actively seeking it, if we don't get that paying gig this month, I'm okay with it. Again, the effort's being put in. I wouldn't be okay with it if we did nothing. That I would not be okay with. But the fact that we're actually auditioning for things, that tells me that I'm putting the effort in and I can feel good about that effort. So, speaking of effort or lack thereof, let's talk about social media real quick because we're trying to meet our social media goals this month. And in some areas, we're close. In others, we are just stagnant, very stagnant. So, Facebook, we saw no gain this week. We're still at 86 likes. Twitter, we actually lost 1 but gained 3 this week. So we're at 42. We have tripled the number of followers there. So while we're not at our goal yet, we did increase that exponentially, I would say. We started with 14 and now we're at 42. So okay, if we fall short of 50, I'm okay. I'm okay because we still made some really good progress there. Instagram, we didn't gain any this week. We're only at 48. Pinterest, no gain. We're still at 7. YouTube, we finally did pick up a subscriber, so we're now at 3. Only 97 to go to meet that goal. And then Mix, we still have nothing there, and I have to dedicate an hour or 2 this week to try to find out how do we get followers, what are people looking for there? Because it's not like we don't have any content. I've got some content on Mix that I've shared through there, but I'm at a loss at how to get more followers without just going into like a blogger thread and saying, hey, follow me on Mix. I want to start working on the organic stuff. But that's where we are with social media. And yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to try to explain it. There wasn't a lot of effort there as far as trying to gain subscribers. I've got a little bit of work I want to do later today to try to help with that. But let's move on, because I keep saying it, the whole purpose that we're here is to try to break into voiceover work, whether that be voice acting or just, reading scripts like an announcer or audiobooks. We just want to do some voiceover work. And this week, I had signed up for ACX the previous week, but I just hadn't really searched through what books were out there or really looked at, okay, what can I audition for? And I did do a couple auditions this week. There's actually a third one that I want to do that I just haven't finished yet. The process is actually, it's exactly what I expected. Reading longer scripts, it can be a little bit of an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle for me today, just speaking. But you have to put some prep work into it, and it's not the same as me putting an outline on my screen and trying to hit all the points that I want to hit. Each writer is different. They have a different style. They have a different vocabulary. Some of them have a different language, and that's really what I wanted to talk about today. Other than really looking through everything and trying to gauge how you want to read things, what you want to stress, are there separate characters? Do you need to differentiate? It's really not that hard of a process. You get your script, you prep there, you read it real quick, figure out, where your problem points are, and then you read it. I read one this week, and I have to talk about this one because I was talking with Brittany earlier in the week, or just a few days ago, and I just finished reading this script, and I was like, what? How did you write this? Because the word choice and the phrasing and the order in which the words happened, English wasn't your first language. Either that, or you used speech-to-text software, and it was absolutely awful at detecting what words you were saying. Because I don't want to get into the actual script because I'm not at liberty to do that. It's not my work to share. And I'm trying to audition for this, but I read it word for word, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that's what I should have done. There were some places where I had to add a word to actually have it make sense, and I struggled so much with that one audition, because it was either poorly written or it was poorly proofread. So if you're going to be auditioning for audiobooks, that's something I would watch out for, especially when you go to read it for the first or second time, when you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to read this? What kind of delivery do I want to do? Just make sure that you understand, what words are actually in front of you. And then when you play it back, try to forget the fact that it's not even close to the language that you speak. But other than that, reading it, mixing it, uploading it was actually very easy. I set up, some effects presets that allow me to quickly process. I may have to tweak here and there just to make sure that certain things are what they should be, but I can knock it out in about an hour, at least the audition, and be on with my day. So I'm definitely going to be trying to do more of those. Now, we'll see what happens if we get a gig and we get into a book that's like 200 pages long, because that can be a long, grueling process. I've done some research there from people who actually do it, and it's a long game. It's a long game, and you've really got to have some fortitude. So we'll see if we're up for that task when it actually happens. I think that we are, but I'm going to have to really, really plan my time and use it effectively when it comes to that. So that's enough for voiceover. And one more thing to talk about here this week, and that is the content specifically, and that's our Ask a Sock Puppet segment. So I announced last week that I was going to have it launched by the 30th of September. And I think that I still could do that. Absolutely. The problem is that I have spent a lot of time in a lot of different areas, and when I go to think about the sock puppet, and I'm looking over here because it's just off the screen right over here, I realize there's a lot more planning that needs to go into that in order for it to be what I want it to be. So I'm still going to, I haven't scrapped it. I still want to do it. I don't know that I'm going to meet that goal for that. But what I have decided is that I want another piece of content to launch instead. And it kind of piggybacks off of the whole T-shirt Tuesday idea that I've mentioned before, where I'm designing a T-shirt and we're talking about either the design or whatever it is that I think might be compelling in that moment. But I thought to myself, I think it was Tuesday, I was sitting here and I was just kind of going through my to-do lists and my planning notes, and I was like, why couldn't I expand that into half tutorial, half discussion kind of thing? Because there are a lot of different disciplines that go into what I do. I'm not an expert in any of them. I've always considered myself as a jack of all trades. It's not because I don't want to master anything, but because I want to do so many things and I learn how to do so many things. I don't have enough time to focus on just one thing and be a master of that. So I'm good at a lot of things. I know how to do a lot of things. But I think it's something that I can share. And some of these skills are things that I've picked up over time. Some of them are things that I'm learning as I go through this journey. And one of the main reasons I started all of this was to share the lessons that I have learned. So, I've got a working title. I'm calling it lab work right now because I always have this thought in the back of my head that I'm a mad scientist and the attic is my laboratory. But I'm calling it lab work for now. We'll see if I can come up with a better title. But I kind of like that. But it's going to be a lot like this. It's going to be a lot like Workout Wednesday. But we're going to be just looking at different technical things, like how to do a lower third graphic or a motion graphic, how to, I don't know, create a image for Pinterest. You can read all the blog posts you want about, create multiple things for Pinterest and use some third party application that creates it for you, or you can learn the skills to create it yourself, because those skills translate into so many other things. Which one would you rather do? Well, it depends on how much time you have, but if it's me, I'd rather have full control. I'd rather have full control over that. But I also have the knowledge to be able to do that. So that is what I'm planning. It's we'll see how quickly I can get it launched. I like to hope that I can have it in September, but we'll see, because I've got to get started on the second round of Workout Wednesday material, and I need to be planning for the sock puppet material. Again, that wasn't necessarily going to be a regular segment anyway, but I've promised you September 30th, and if I'm not going to meet that, you need to know now, but you also need to know what I'm planning in its place. So very excited about what the rest of this month has in store. Very excited about what October could have in store for us too, because if everything goes to plan and everything goes smoothly, we've launched Workout Wednesday, which I've gotten some pretty good response from, so thank you for that. We could have this lab working idea that I've got that could be launched by the end of the month, and then if we've got the sock puppet, that's 3 new pieces of content that we could be showing the world and driving more viewers, more eyeballs to the blog, watching the vlogs, or to the YouTube channel, which again, secondary side hustles in my mind, because voiceover is the main one. But those secondary side hustles help with the main one because I get more exposure. Me. It's the one time in life that I can be like that, because if I'm not me, am I really doing a good job of marketing? And I need to market myself. And when I'm marketing myself, it's all about me. All about me. One last drink of coffee. Because that's it. That's all I got for us this week. It was kind of a short one. But that's what happens when you're starting to hit a groove and your efforts are really focused in certain areas. Like this week, I focused on blog views. I focused on planning and expanding those ideas, and I focused on voiceover. And there's really not a lot that I can talk about yet, because they're just auditions, and a lot of times with these auditions, you can't just, hey, look, here's somebody's work for free. They're going to try to get you to buy it later, but here's something for free. You can't do that. So I can't speak on a lot this week, but what I can do is maybe so those graphics aren't on my screen yet. You'll see them, but I'm trying to get my finger position in the right spot. But follow us on social media. Help us get to those social media goals. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and Mix 625 Media. Follow us. Like us. Subscribe to us. Message us. I don't care. Just follow us. That's how you're going to know when I'm actually doing things and when new posts are out there. You can also, if you're a WordPress user, you can follow us. You can follow us on WordPress as well. All of it's good. All of it's really good. All right. So that's it for this week. Again, if you haven't checked it out, Workout Wednesday, fun with tongue twisters. That was actually a pretty fun episode to do. Next week, we're going to be looking at reading technical scripts. If you've got to watch on Wednesday to find out what that actually means. But I'm Josh. This has been Vlog Sunday here on From the Attic, the 625 Media blog. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my coffee and I don't know, clean the house or something. It needs it. I'm out. I'll see you on Wednesday. I lied. One more.